So back to the regular conversations that we have, basically over the last 40, 78 years, we've been talking about central transplants and, basically circuits that involve in heliocentric involvements at the time. So, that's basically dealing with Google Fi, T-Mobile, Comcast Grid, PMC. You're dealing with deals like that all the time. And, that's pretty much their obsolete subscription and network at that time as they build more towards as they build more towards probable cause and being able to make more of their situations adapt to the conflicts of the situation in a prominent way, and being able to use their company in a bigger platform. And once, like they say, taxation without representation would suck if you couldn't represent what you sell. And it's basically going with $48,000 and $621 going out every month of the decade. And it's pretty much where you working to be, one of those inventory specialists, district managers, or software engineers, or in that area, or corporate sergeant, you know and those are just the co-management objectives, or the co-management occupations that give you more drive to be more compassionate towards your state, and be able to network them out to other neutral and sustained characters of that position. And if you see a good representative of that premium contact, then that's basically where you're looking at more of a 1891 special of a state representative at the time. That's pretty much going towards the capital of Texas at that time. So you pretty much learning more of USA, of the Texas nation, which is in the south side of Maryland, south side of Massachusetts. And that's basically where the biggest form that you see before you go to the next destination state is pretty much looking at your city. And that's pretty much where you're looking at how to describe the different networks and opportunities that you have at different sides. And you can be able to look at different objectives of that area and still have more content for the the alternate performance side of the deal, where you can go both ways and still be able to have the power to increase the intelligence of the acknowledgeability. And it's basically where you're going from knowing a train set and being able to compact it and put it in a car shape, and be able to maneuver it how you want it. And be able, and another thing is you can be able to change the car size. And that's the thing that we see a lot at Enterprise. Majority of the time, we see the Alamo has the difference between the car sets. And that's pretty much where we see majority of their proposition, as we gain 38 hours and 42 hours and 428 hours of positive response. So that's pretty much what you get after working 1,600 hours of positive response. So it's pretty much not only just a regular application at that time. So you pretty much working with a command system, and pretty much working with um, the emergency services of safety systems, and that's pretty much what you do on the off day of your off period. So it's pretty much working with 48,828 hours between April and September, and being able to use that as a midpoint, a sub point, or just a point in general, being a descriptive language, being able to describe what you're there for, and describing more of that definition. See, that's a third grade definition. What you're looking for is a seventh grade definition. So you got to be able to boost up your definition vocabulary, and be able to understand more about what that context that you're trying to explain is about. And that's pretty much what life is about after you grow 18 years old to 32 years old. And you just pretty much trying to get a nice efficient feel instead of having a bigger block. And it's pretty much a fun intriguing thing that you do in the modern day that you figure out in the long run. And it's pretty much looking at 1982 to 2010, and being able to look at different products at that type of time. So that's pretty much working with T-Mobile retail stores, and being able to promote more of their cellular use. And that's pretty much what Comcast Grid is doing, and being able to promote more towards their check-ins account, and being able to pay more of their notes. And it's pretty much going to any random person out there that has a characteristic of UIL, Max Preps, and Dave Campbell's statistics. So it's pretty much where that goes for the most part. And it's pretty much what I wanted to do with my $48,000 that I collected since aquatics. So that's pretty much where majority of my $371 go. That comes from any other opportunity or any other industry that I've attended. And that's pretty much all you're doing. You just continuing community service, or doing something like service membership, and being able to combat with 1874 and 2010. And it's pretty much where you're using a whole lot of history and a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of skill to promote $48 million of prophecies, which is making it more efficient for metropolitan areas of all different types of demographics. And it's pretty much based off of PlayStation 3. So we pretty much had the ball in hand, like Granger, or like Penske. We pretty much had the ball in hand since 2008. And it's pretty much where we just carried the torch from then on in. And it's pretty much where you see Reagan Raiders, and you see a bunch of Smug Mug, Friday Night Fan Stand, Max Preps, your Huddle. You see all those district networks that sponsor those athletics. And that's pretty much where we went all in. You see us lifting weights. After 41 months of that weightlifting, you ain't gonna want to say hi no more. That's a definite answer at that point. That's about 64,884 times. It's pretty much where you're working with, that at Rice. You paying for Rice at that time. So that's about 671 different ounces of rice at that time, coming from Catfish Industries to Comcast Grid to T-Mobile at Google Fi. So it's pretty much where you're working on their balances as much as paying the rights off as well. And it's basically looking at 670 categories, while you're looking at about 671 different portions. And it's pretty much where you get your $64,880 promotionally at the time. So it's pretty much using 691%. Majority of the time for 334 months. And that's pretty much where we're using more conclusive detail to resemble more for our co-management sides, and more towards assistant manager, and and the assistant manager and administrative. The what is that called? Is administrative assistant. So you're working with more of that type of hierarchy, of monarchy at the time. So you got to be able to provide a pervasive detail of how to promote for your environment. So with that being said, you're working on more of a tropical sensation at Catfish Industries and Mr. Catfish and More. You're working on a tropical imagination, and being able to work with the western part of Texas within Amarillo, Abilene, and Arlington. So that pretty much gives you more leisure and more liability towards having more leisure and liability towards having preferences, and being able to cope with the environmental statistics that we have in Austin from Dallas. Being able to travel on the plane. So all in all, I have 481 hours of flight travel. So that's pretty much not just working on me myself, but working on 461 different objectives and companies that's within EcoHerb. So that's pretty much where you're working on 461 different objectives in EcoHerb that gets propelled every 461 hours. So it's pretty much where you're working with 38,533 hours, like you're excited and enchanted. That's the feeling you get when you're ready to take a positive run. And that's pretty much where you're looking at more between you're not figuring out what could be the problem. That's not where the time you figure out where to be the problem. You figure out where to be the problem in practice. That's the number one rule. So that's basically where I'm figuring out that after practice, you still have a bunch of more groups and a bunch of more associates that like to practice, and they like to be out there outside having recreation, playing with water. And that's pretty much what that does. That brings a cheerful joy to everybody, I'm sure. So that's pretty much like Trump. He sees people having fun. And that's basically what the point is. You want to be able to have fun because you're stuck in your life. And once you get stuck, there's 69, 61, 91% chance that you're not gonna be able to structure yourself fine if you can't do the things your independent individual way. And that's pretty much where you're growing out of being a young adult. That's about 6 to 16 years old. That ain't too far away from being too 241 years old at the time. So that's pretty much where you're going up against different types of gentrification at that time. Dealing with how old the parent could be, dealing with how much pain the parent can be in, dealing with how much fatigue the parent could be. That's part of me. That'd be me if I was a parent. You'd be dealing with fatigue and with not being able to show up just because it ain't my all performance. When I show up, I want to be able to that good stuff done, and I want to be able to show out. What I mean, be able to do me, and be able to show some popcorn. Show some stuff that you know nobody sees on their day, on their regular day. But if they're ready to party and they see they party people out there, and they see a little bit of action, and you see a little bit of action, that's what it's turned up to be after 1924 to 2009. And that's pretty much what you still see in the tradition of the music that you hear today. It's not that you see in a video on Vivo or YouTube, but you're looking at more of the tradition that it inherits and what it sounds like. And that's basically looking at an environment somewhere in a particular habitat of an environment. So that's pretty much where you're looking at more of 388 different sources of counties. And that's pretty much where you share a prominent district of counties. So that's pretty much where you're using Declaration of Independence to promote equilibrium. And it's pretty much where you're using introduction rate of 1964 to 2009. And that's pretty much where you started the Declaration of Independence of knowing the common boundary, and knowing more of 321 45 321 51 p.m. in the evening. And it's pretty much working on 3,800 hours and 9 minutes, working with just air flight, and being able to improve my acknowledgments as I gain